Good day, Starlights, and welcome to the Gulfstream 550 flight. Today our route is going to take us through three incredible countries. We're going to be starting here in Strasbourg, Germany, continuing down to Genoa, Sicily Airport in Italy, and then we're going to continue onwards to Montpellier in France. So, Guten Tag and bonjour to you. Can't wait to get started, so we might as well go in. Today the little cockpit is just mine exclusively, i.e. this company. So we're going in November 345 Lima Charlie. It's one of the best liveries, I think. It's very, very simple. And also business jets are usually not pimped out in terms of their liveries for the most part. This is a Gulfstream 550. It's about 30 feet tall. It's a very, very big aircraft. Probably on par with a small CRJ 700 or something. And actually, it doesn't handle as easily as you think. Because of the rear engine design, it's actually more difficult, I think, than a 737. It's a lot heavier on the controls. So, as you can see, standing here, we're barely even up to the nose cone. And built into the nose cone, you have the weather radars. Of course, it is modelled. So, let's get some of these stuff removed from the outside. Let's get the pitot covers taken off. I'm going to go down here and just inspect the wheels. So, we're going to remove these pins. And we're going to do the same on the rear wheels as well. Make sure we crouch down and not bang our heads. Hope everyone's doing very well. Thank you so much for the newcomers, the regulars, and those who are just stopping by for a good time. So guys, you may have seen today I did unleash some new videos of a new jet. I hope you're all very, very excited for it. I'm very excited for it. The Gulfstream 550 is definitely one of my favourites so far in terms of add-ons. I don't really have many add-ons. This and the Citation X, absolutely brilliant. And then of course we have the new one which I've posted, the 525 Citation jet. So I hope you're all looking forward to that. Let's just set the cargo doors here. So the cargo doors are clear, people can load in there. That is going to be very difficult to put some bags in there, I guarantee it. It's not exactly low down, is it? Right, so into the cockpit. Let's go ahead and bring up our flight plan on every tab. So here's our flight plan. We're going to do our fuel first. We need about 910, 2365 for the block fuel. So let's get a GPU one. Don't need. Actually, yeah, let's take main door lights because it is pretty dark outside. And of course, we've removed the elements. To remember how to do this, guys. So back to the fuel. You can do it separately in a separate tab, or you can just flip back and forth to make it more realistic. It's entirely up to you. So we only need 2365. We're actually really set in terms of fuel. I'm going to do this for the cargo and the packs though. Cargo and packs today. By the way, we're going up to flight level 410, which is quite high. I think this is rated up to 51,000, just like the Citation X. Another aircraft as well, which is very high performance. And not as high performance as this. This one has about 15,000 pounds of thrust. But still pretty damn powerful. And we'll go back to the weight and balance. Yeah, we don't want to do that. So as you can see there, 19 people are actually fully loaded, so it's obviously a very busy route. 19 people. And we have 500. This is quite a lot, guys, for a jet. Considering this is a business jet, this is more akin to an airliner. I really think it is. It's akin to like a small Embraer or even something else. So we're going to cross-check our ground weight. Ground weight is supposed to be, well, let's check our zero fuel weight. 23,000, so 23.5. That's actually pretty good. We are within the limits of 24.6. He will give us a load sheet. Let's load the fuel and we will wait till we board the packs. Let's get started, guys. I'm not going to follow the checklist because there are some items missing. It can actually make it a little bit more tricky to do, but the checklist is available for you. Let's go ahead and set the cabin lights on for everybody as well, so turn them all on. Also, I like this, by the way. I just realised my SimBrief user ID is on there. That's not very good, is it? I'll have to cut that out possibly. So circuit breakers. But yeah, I like the ability to change from kilos to pounds and other things like that. Anyway, going back to the checklist, there's a few things missing off here. I think you could probably do it if you know the general process of starting playing. So, let me get the GPU power. Let's take our batteries on. This is not even on the checklist about the batteries, but you do obviously need them on. Cabin galley 60 Hz. I'm going to wait for the system to initialize.
Refueling complete, and here is your load sheet, sir. Have a nice flight.
Brilliant. So he's actually put more fuel in, which is probably not needed. So he's put 8. Oh, he's put it down to 8,000. So that's pretty good. And we won't board just yet. We'll wait for the packs. So the load sheet's down here. This again doesn't give you an accurate trim percentage. It does give you a trim. It says 11 degrees, which is always incorrect. Well, then they have a correct trim angle thing on the EFB. So if you go back to the page here, you can go into performance calculator and read data from sim. This seems correct. We'll wait for the packs to get on board so it gives a more accurate reading, but down here it will give you the percentage. So trim, takeoff trim is about 9 degrees. So again, different to what it's given us on the load sheet with a V2 of 126. I'm just going to load them now so we can get that performance calculated. Systems are initializing. Let's turn on the fuel pumps and the systems. So this should be on normal. Display system control. It's very, very different to Cessna Citation or anything else. It's Gulfstream is one of the secret companies. They don't really reveal anything about their designs or anything about their systems. So obviously the developer, yeah, again, just reiterating that they've done a fantastic job without that information. It does look extremely realistic. Let's do our IRS. We'll wait for that to align. That's going to take some time. We're going to stick our nav lights on in the meantime, and I think that's it for that system. The emergency power should be armed. Test the standby power. You don't need to have it on according to the checklist, so we'll leave it off. TRU seems to be armed. The camera, we'll leave that stuff off until people get on board. Let's go ahead and stick. We may as well stick the APU on there since we've got extra fuel on the aircraft.
Boarding completed and main door closed.
Well, that was quick. I think I got it on realistic time for the packs as well, but that was super quick for 19 people. People are keen to these nowadays to get on board. Anyway, let's get the... So, you can of course go on the X-Plane map and get the conditions from Strasbourg Airport, or you can simply type it into the EFB LFST down here. LFST onto the METAR, and you can even print off your own METAR sheet. This is extremely in-depth. The fact that this aircraft includes an EFB in the first place is great, you know, and it's got all these extra features. It's got cabin announcements, cabin lights, and you can even do your full payload, ground control. It's got everything you need on it to do a successful flight. You can even print off the METAR. Now that level of detail, guys, that level of detail is not found in a lot of add-ons. A lot of add-ons which actually charge you a lot of money for their products. But we'll find out which ones are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones the hard way. So, according to the METAR, QNH is standard pressure today, so 1013. Just going to check that on the captain's co-pilot side is a bit low. That was because I was flying in Strasbourg last. Away, you can simply just push it and it'll go to 1013. So it's given us 500 feet. Flight plan. We need to load our flight plan in. Let's just recall how to do this. There we go. So we're going to LIMJ today, which is not appearing in the list for some reason. That's very, very strange, isn't it? So, navigations, flight plan list. Give me a sec, let me just check my folders over. sometimes when the FMS plans, they should be able to get loaded in. It's saying it's available as a PDF. Okay, so we'll have to do it. I see, we haven't loaded it in as I expected, so we'll have to do it through the flight plan. This is actually how pilots do it anyway. I suspect if they're on a corporate route like this one, they would probably have to do it manually if it wasn't made by the company already, which is most likely the case, because most people who fly private don't fly, you know, there's really no guessing where they're going to want to go from or to. They may choose a set route, but it's unlikely most of the time. So figured out how to do this thing. I figured it out on the other streams very well, and we actually managed to enter the cargo weight in, which was a relief. Excuse me. Anyway, let's enter our destination. Lima Indigo Mike Juliet. There we go, and they can do via 2 on here. So let's go ahead and put the departure in. We want runway 23 for the Lupin 8 hotel departure. Indeed, it's coming up with no transition available. I'll just cross check that, yes. And then from there we can enter in the other waypoint. So from Lupin, direct to Nator. This is the best way of doing it, everybody. Sometimes loading the flight plans in might be convenient. That was the incorrect way to do that. But sometimes, and actually most of the time, entering it in manually is the best way. Gives you practice as well on how to do the actual system. Might have another case of explain all the add-on here not recognising the waypoint. There we go, so Nassau direct to Ulcor. Direct to Mono. One of my favourite planes now, this one. I've been flying it quite a lot. I don't know if there's a counter here for the actual time flown. I don't think there is. But it's got to be at least 20 hours already. So direct to Rivap. And then direct to the final destination there, Genova's sister airport. So, performance initialization. Let's check the lights are on in the cabin. They are, in fact, they are on. We can't see any people. The APU is whistling. So,
Good morning, ladies
welcome
and
people
gentlemen.
on board.
On behalf of the captain and the entire crew, welcome aboard AKD Studio Aircraft. We are delighted to have you with us today. Please take a moment to ensure your seatbelt is fastened and make yourself comfortable. If there is anything we can do to make your flight more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to let us know. We expect a smooth and pleasant flight today. Once again, thank you for choosing our aircraft. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight.
So we got about 1.4 of reserves today, so 1,400. You can also check the load sheet down here. Well, that probably won't give you the amount. It'll just give you the takeoff weight. So takeoff weight actual is 31,000 within the max range of 41,000. 34.5 and the centre of gravity thing. 34.5 here as well on the tow limits. But yeah, the chart thing, flight plan will give you the minimums and all the rest of it. Our flight trip fuel is only 910, so that means we've got 1,400 of reserves. Transition altitude, so we're just going to check it on here today. 7,000 feet. And it is important to have that put in correctly, guys. The transition altitude, the initial cruise is going to be 41,000. I don't think we got a step climb today. It's just straight. It says flight level step straight up to 41,000. Of course. Cruise winds. Okay, so we did this last time. If you go to your flight plans top of climb page, wind information, you'll see that flight level 410 we have 206 at 025. and that means that 206 at 25 knots. Okay, and we can't enter the ISA deviation, but we can enter things like the speed limits below the 10,000 feet limit. In that case, we would have to check the charts and get the, for example, the departure that we need to do. So, right, give me a sec, everybody. Just want to find out what we're actually doing. You know what, I'm going to skip it, but you can get it off of the chart for the departure and then enter the speed limits there if you want to or not. So cargo, let's pray this works today. Let's check our load sheet. I don't think it says it on there. It does say the packs, but it doesn't say the cargoes. Quite a lot today, yeah, 500 on cargo. That's an awful lot of weight, and it works again. I don't know what it is. I maybe not be doing this correctly offline. The online glitch. Anyway, 19 packs on board. We're going to cross check the weight because it says packs weight there is 1140, and then gross weight 31.4. 31.4 seems actually pretty normal and pretty right. Maybe the packs weight are a little bit under what they should be. Well, that's normal as well. So, back to the flight plan. We're going to do our arrival. I'm going to make sure that's programmed in. So last night I flew a completely different citation jet from London City all the way up to Glasgow, and had a stop on the way, and that was some really good NDB and other navigation, and I'll talk for that when we go onto that aircraft. But when you come back onto a system with an FMC or a McDo, it just gets so much easier. It's almost like letting the plane fly itself. I mean, imagine that in 2025, pilots. Okay, I'm not trying to make out that they don't do anything, but pilots really don't have to do anything other than enter the plan, and then the plane just flies itself. It's incredible. So, direct to River, we have no arrival programmed. We are expecting. I know runway 28 has got an ILS, so I'm going to put it in. As you can see, ILS 28. It might be Yankee today because of the time, so we'll do that with no transition, and we'll just say we'll wait and see what happens when we get there. Initial altitude until the departure. Looks like we're going straight up to flight level 410, guys. Okay, that's us ready to go. All the systems have come to life. Let's check our vertical and lateral navigation. Maybe because we didn't put the cruise in. Let's just check our performance. 41,000 feet. LNAV works, VNAV doesn't. That's probably going to turn on when we're in the air. Let's set the cruise now to... Oh, of course this aircraft doesn't work with the Honeycomb. Only 1,000 feet. Yeah, so I'm wondering about the VNAV. Maybe we should leave it. Getting the charts again. We need to go back onto here for the departure page. So takeoff. Let's just check the QNH is in fact standard pressure. It is. Flaps. So it's actually giving us a speed as well. It's saying V2 is about 131 with 20 degrees of flaps, which is normal for takeoff. If we check our flight reference here, and then cross-check it with our performance, send the data to the FMS, and then it has come up with the speeds here. The speeds are a little bit wrong on the aircraft compared to the chart. And the flight plan 130. I suspect these differences are just because there's never going to be any accurate things on. Although once or twice I've had accurate speeds, it's not always the case. Anyway, V2 is 131, so we need to add about 5 or 10 knots onto that, so make it 140. He's coming up with 130 on the VREF. We're just going to leave it as it is. Maybe alter that one, 130, 131. I mean, it's pretty accurate so far. It is pretty accurate, so be sure to unselect it, guys. It will stick. V1 is 117. These are crucial speeds. And that might be a little bit more accurate. We're going to click auto speed. Now I think VNAV will work if we click it. No, still won't work, so we'll have to figure that out. Alright guys, ready to push back. Let's go ahead and disconnect our ground power. Connect to our APU. Engine bleed air coming on. Main door should be closed. Chocks, I forgot to remove the chocks. Cargo door. Ground power, and we're clear of the aircraft. We're going to stick our beacon light on. And call ground crew. You know what, actually, even though this is a fantastic EFB, and I applaud the developer for adding it, they perhaps could add a pushback option as well. Again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it would just take it to a whole other level. So, we're going to go down onto the X-plane map and use this one for taxiing reference. We could use the chart as well. So, looks like Mike down Papa 3, Papa 4, or even Alpha down Kilo Papa 4 to runway 23. Let's push back the tail to the left.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Fantastic. His accent is a little bit hard to hear actually for a German. That's interesting. Window heat. Might as well stick all the cabin utilities on, including the phones. We'll leave the SATCOM and the internet stuff off for now.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Anti-ice is coming on to auto. I'm going to put this pressurization now to flight mode. So it should start pressurizing the cabin. We're going to check our environmental controls.
Switching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
Just give me a sec. Let's release parking brake for him and then we'll monitor the pushback, I guess. Yeah, the level of depth is amazing. So, pressurization is good in terms of airflow from the APU to the engines. So when we start them, we'll have 42 psi ready to kick them into gear. And then once they kick into gear and we turn the packs on, these two valves here will open and allow the air to flow from the engines into the cabin. That's what that diagram means, everybody. And it's 8 degrees approximately in the APU bleed air, which means when it comes through the cabin, it should be heated up to about 22 by then. So let's see if that'll happen. Let's go ahead and start the number 1 engine, or number 2 in this case, the right engine. So it's coming online. We're going to kick the fuel in. There you go, ignition. A lot of warnings coming on the system.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
I will do. So we're right at the end of the taxiway, thankfully. Number 1 engine has come alive.
Starting pushback.
And better pushback works flawlessly with such an incredible product, priced appropriately for what you get. Absolutely appropriately for what you get. So number 1, we're going to turn the starter on the first engine or left engine. There we go. As you can see, the APU bleed won't directly go into the cabin until we let it. Fuel flow is on. There you go, so 60, that's about 183 Celsius, and that'll get to the same. 48 psi. As you can see, the temperature has warmed up considerably, so when we put it into the cabin, it should be at the right temp for us. Just monitor the engine still. It's not as quick as the other one, but it's, I think, starting. Okay, that was a little bit slower. Maybe an ice, as I say, might be an ice build-up sometimes that does that. It might just be that pipelines are a little bit cold. Parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow, standby.
So, one of the packs came on automatically then. Let's turn the other one on and the APU bleed air off. I'm going to stop the APU now. The fuel flow can come on all engines. I'm going to put the thrust flow on before takeoff. Crank starter coming off. Incredible plane. So as you can see, going back to the diagram, the packs are on.
Bypass pin has been removed. Unsignal of the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thank you so much there, Strasbourg ground pushback, for your beautiful voice. Okay, yes, so going back to the packs, as you can see, the valves opened and we're not going to get 170 degrees of heat. Although the left one's a little bit colder, that is probably reaffirming what I said about the ice, or probably something else, which is a bit cold on that side. Anyway, so it comes here and it cools down, and then it comes here and it's getting cooled down again prior to going into the cabin, using this, you know, compressed air from the engines. So that's it on the ECS system. You can go onto brakes and things, hydraulics, and check these as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You can check your ground spoilers. So we turn the ground spoilers on. Should be working. Give me a sec, guys. Ah, my Bravo honey thing's not plugged in. Very odd, it wants me to calibrate it for the aircraft, so this is how you do that if you're wondering. Very odd. Many flights when I haven't had to do that. I have to say, PK, that I was considering the 650, and the reason I got this one is it's much bigger. It is much bigger and it's considerably more in depth than you would think. I haven't flown the 650. It's not that I don't think it looks good, it's that this was their first aircraft. So if they haven't learned something from the first aircraft, they're going to continue to do it in the second one, and it's obviously not going to be as great. So going back here to the spoilers, you can see here, if we open the spoilers up, it will in fact go to the spoilers on the hydraulics. If we close them again, it should disconnect from them. Not a very good diagram, it doesn't really show you. Back to map, let's get going everybody. So runway 23, taxi lights on. I'm going to set the logo light on today. Let's do our stall test. Let's go down to test, stall number 1. Look at that, you even get the proper shaking of the bloody yoke. Flight control, we got ailerons. Yeah, so PK, if you are considering this one, my advice, go and watch my review. I'll tell you now, I didn't recommend it at full price, I recommended it on sale because of some of the incomplete modelling and the sound issues and other things, but I did say overall it was a very good aircraft and I was really enjoying it. Right, we are ready to go. Let's do our safety briefing and we'll get taxiing.
We would like to familiarize. Please use caution when approaching the aircraft and be aware of static wicks, jet blast, and aircraft movements. Please observe the seatbelt and no smoking signs. Fasten your seatbelt and inserting the button.
Looks like we got a rogue throttle again. So it's messed up my whole profile again, blimey. So, yes, do I recommend this? That review I did, usually it would do quite well on a plane review, but I think it's because it wasn't live, it didn't do too well. So when it gets put onto the YouTube after it's live, it doesn't get pushed out as much.
Communication interference is a common safety concern for the flight crew.
I said our V2 speeds, I think you change it. Down 140, wasn't it? 141.
Stow tables and carry on.
Let's go down Kilo, and then we'll take Papa.
Adjust your seat back to the full
Papa 4 to runway 23.
In the unlikely event of cabin depressurization, an oxygen mask will automatically drop from the compartment above your seats. Pull the mask down to the full length of the tubing and place over your. The oxygen will be flowing freely. Please
At least you got it on sale.
smoke vents are located under the base.
I said it earlier actually, I don't know if he was watching, but I said, I was saying, we find out the hard way. We buy these planes and then we find out that the store and the pictures and the description is usually not that accurate, to be honest. Not trying to be rude to the developers, I think AKD Studio has done a fantastic job of the 550, but a lot of the developers on that store have really, you know, squeezed the public when they shouldn't have, and they've told people that their aircraft is good when it to be honest it isn't. But going back to the store, I think I just uploaded a video today with a Citation 525 by Torxim, probably one of the best models you can get, and that isn't available on the store. And in that video I said that usually quality would be found elsewhere, meaning that you can find high quality products for X-Plane off of the store. I found the Tupolev 154B for X-Plane 12 by Master Skyer and Felis, two masters of programming aviation planes, and it's absolutely brilliant, and that's a freeware aircraft. And then there's a Just Like Piper Arrow 3, which I have again, full native 8K textures interior and exterior, and it's available on the Just Flight store. So, and that's where I bought it. I bought it off Just Flight store rather than the X-Plane store. So it just shows if you do a bit of searching around and you're looking for a particular aircraft, there's most likely going to be something out there that's free or even available off of the X-Plane store that's going to be better quality than what's on the store. Long explanation, but I wanted to make sure people were clear on what I meant. So let's get the internet and the WLAN on for now.
Convenience items are available for your use, including phone access.
I'm sorry, PK, for that. I hope my review didn't mislead you anyway.
Snacks and beverages are located in.
Although, to be fair, I did see a lot of people say on the forums that they wanted AKT Studios 650 to be better because it takes into account everything that's wrong on the 550, but of course the developer didn't really take anything on board. And in the review I talked about how the developer had actually taken and stolen information from people and used it in his plane. Now the reason why you don't get as many documents with the 550 now is because the documents that were originally included were actually taken from somebody else. In other words, the developer took it and used it and sold it, probably without their permission. So that's pretty bad. And I've only set navigation to FMS, so that's why they've removed some documentation, and that's why I suspect, yeah, it's gone. So we've done the navigation onto FMS. That's so crucial, guys, to getting it to work. Let's check the LNAV and the VNAV. The VNAV is now working, probably because of the V speeds. When we take off, I am going to press the throttles for an auto throttle. I don't think we need the weather anymore. We have got... Did we enter our takeoff winds? Let's go back under performance. I don't think we did, actually. I don't think we entered them. Takeoff winds. We entered cruise winds. Anyway, takeoff winds is saying 200 at 5 knots. If we check X-Plane 12, It doesn't give you the wind on that. I can't see the wind on it. It just says wind light and variable. It's about 200 there. About 205 knots almost. Almost. Right, we're going to do a pulse light takeoff. And we're going to stick our strobes on. Seatbelt signs are on. Flaps to 20. And we're on the... What's our departure again? This is why we've got a flight plan. They've only the Lupin H8 hotel departure. Awesome. And of course transponder to CARA. We're going to squawk 7,000 I guess. Actually no, where is our squawk code? Let's change it to something else. 2553. Go ahead and set our time down here. I think that's started. I have no idea. Local time is, let's keep it on local time, is 3:30 in the afternoon. So we're a little bit over time today because of the late start. Strasbourg traffic, November. Blimey, what is our call sign? There it is, Strasbourg traffic, November 345, Lima Charlie, departing runway 23. Ignition continuous. Flap set. What is our trim percentage? So 9 degrees on the trim. That's probably going to be too much. Let's see. V1, rotate. Positive rate gear, the gear's coming up. I think the auto throttle's kicked in automatically this time, which is brilliant. Should have turned the cross feeds off. We'll leave that off until we get into cruise. Flaps coming up. Clean departure there from Strasbourg traffic. We'll let the auto throttle work its magic as we climb up to flight level 410. I think we got the yaw damper on. Yeah, yaw damper's on. Pulse lights off. Let's turn the autopilot on. Seems to be working well from the get-go. We're in the
Ladies
climb.
and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. However, we always recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened while
Making
you're
that
seated.
turn early, probably because it's steep. Let's go ahead and turn onto the correct heading. If you're unsure of the correct heading, guys, the course should follow the flight plan. But yeah, the autopilot on this is very, very good as well. I'd say they've done a good job of it. I did see a few videos where they said the autopilot wouldn't work on the first waypoint. I suspect it's because it turns early to make the turn, otherwise it won't do it in time. It's very, very normal on big jets for the aircraft to turn early, especially with half bank on as well. I'm going to set the anti-ice on. We won't leave it on auto, we'll just put it on manually. Pressurization, so we're climbing in the cabin, that's good. 22 degrees in the cabin. We can check our environmental control here and just make sure that things are good. And of course we do have a maintenance, but there's no maintenance module integrated. Looks like it's good. The bleed air is coming through well. We can get charts, but I think the charts maybe for, even though it gives you a sim brief link, I think the charts are for Navigraph or something, because they do not work with ChartFox. So as you can see then, go in there to Lupin, and then we'll continue on to Nator, and then we'll fly over to Italy's Genova Sicily airport. Landing gear, screw down spoilers retracted. Flaps are up, pressurization has just been checked. No smoking, we'll keep that on. Altimeters, standard pressure is already set. And exterior lights is required. Cruise, all we have to do is, I've turned the seatbelt sign off already, and then we'll do fuel return. That's already on automatic as well. And then FMS fuel quantity compare. So I don't see in there putting half bank on. You are supposed to put half bank on in the cruise, and they do include that option up here. Yes, last night flying through the UK, very, very severe weather up from London. Yeah, severe weather up from London to the Midlands or Northwest. And as I continued on to Scotland, it actually got better. Flew into Glasgow last night, and despite the heavy winds, it was actually pretty calm, with just a little bit of rain here and there. Gorgeous. Nice interior bathroom modelled. I'm still figuring out how to flush this toilet, guys. It's only a toilet, but I really want to know how it works, because there's no obvious way to do it. If AKD Studio has watched this stream, the other streams or any videos I've done on this aircraft so far, and you want to discuss what I said about it, please comment, because I think getting involved with reviews and comments on the videos and telling me what you want to improve is going to improve the way people perceive this, because I think this is an excellent aircraft for the price. There are a lot of flaws and a lot of issues, especially graphically, but if it flies from A to B and it doesn't have major issues, I'd say that's a win. As we saw across the mountains, ladies and gentlemen, the passengers are going absolutely crazy in the cabin. I'm going to step away and get a drink. My name is Grantham, by the way. Welcome, and everybody. I'll be back in a minute. Well, it's just what a beautiful, beautiful touch there with the song. I know the feeling. Something like that, I know you're there, blah, blah, blah. All generic hip-hop, generic bullshit. Anyway, we're here in the Gulfstream 550. Cruising now, probably going to be 41,000 and Mach 0.8, so around 300 knots. That'll decrease as we get a little bit higher up. Flight plan hasn't amended the cruise level to 410. But we can enter that in manually, so if we want to say by the all-core or Moneb, in fact now, by the way, we could enter it now. So we put probably the speed, so 300, flight level 410. So as you can see, it's now amended the plan. If we click on the VNav, it should go straight up to 41,000 feet. Looks like Zurich is absolutely chock-a-block today. I was tempted to go to Zurich, but I'm not too keen on it. So, as you can see, we're climbing up to 41,000. If you want to know anything about the systems, if you want to see anything in the aircraft, and you want me to do anything in it, then please let me know and I will show you where it is. You have all these things built in that make it just top notch. Checklist on this one is not complete, but it's still better than nothing, and obviously the pilots would have theirs in hand anyway. If we click on cruise, do a panel suite and FMS fuel update. Pressurization we'll check. Even got a waypoint list. So fuel, we started with around 8,000 kg, we're already down to 7,000. Minus 35, we've got less than half tanks, I think we should be alright, and we'll refuel at Genoa Sister Airport before we continue on to Montpellier. So for light reference, if we could perform our calculation for landing now, it will probably be inaccurate. Rated EPR is always the thrust mode that I use. I don't even think... I don't know if there's an alternate, I haven't changed it, but if we calculate by reading data from Sim, it's given us a VAP of about 138 as a reference speed on there. We can't change it now, we're in the air, that's fine. And if we send that to the FMS, it should automatically fill that up when we come into land. Provided we've got an airport programmed in and a runway approach, which we seem to have with runway 28 ILS. 1,000 feet to go and the cabin is pressurised now. Saying about 6,900. In the actual real aircraft, guys, I think the Gulfstream 550 is only limited up to 6,000 feet, so it means it can only be pressurised up to 6,000 feet. It is depressurising slightly, but I do think there's again a programming thing here which has gone wrong. Fuel boost pump. Just wondering if we should program a start. I am familiar with the airport and I know for a fact we've got a start available for runway 28. It's quite, I don't know if you've flown to Genoa, but it's a really well known star. And it usually flies the same route every time, so it's the X to 1. I can't remember if it's the 1 November or the 2 Alpha. Let's go for the 1 November. Yeah, so I think that's it with the gear cut to runway 28. Oh wow, look at that everybody, look at that view. Oh my god, that is so amazing. X-Plane 12 just keeps stunning me with these incredible views, guys. Look at that, wow. They've improved these mountains massively since I last flew over them. That is just stunning, absolutely stunning. if you are still here, PKXG4JT, if you're still here, I know you've just spent money on the 650 by AKD, but there is in fact, not recommending it because I haven't got it, but you may want to check out the Challenger 650 by, I think, Take Command, is it? It's a well-known, I say it's well-known amongst like the flight simming buyers, those wealthy, that small wealthy base of buyers who purchase high-end and expensive things, which is mostly what X-Plane 12 marketing is for, because let's face it, the majority of things are either poor quality or extremely overpriced, or a bit of both, to be fair. Yeah, so the 650, Challenger 650, it's not a Gulfstream, it's called Take Command Hot Start Challenger 650. It's extremely expensive. Based on the price alone, I don't even recommend it, but maybe you want to check that out. Maybe there'll be a sale on at some point, or maybe not. Yeah, Hot Start. Unfortunately, I have seen that, and you know, it sickens me that they always aim these prices at people, this small, like, wealthy base of X-Plane users, which is not the majority of people. Even me buying that TorqueSim 525 recently on sale, even that was a little bit too pricey, because now I've got it, and now you can see what it doesn't come with, and it's like, it's a little bit of a situation. I think Microsoft Flight Simulator's got a lot more products for a better price available. Let's put it that way. Considerably better prices. Oh man, $99. Imagine charging $100 for a digital product. I mean, I thought the X-Plane store was bad with people charging $70 or $80, but I mean, come on guys. Seriously? You're never going to appeal to the mass market and to more people with those kinds of prices. You need to lower them, and you need to lower your expectations as well. You know, it's not this wealthy user base that use X-Plane 12. In fact, it's the opposite. Usually the wealthy ones are on Microsoft because it's better. It's better in terms of its product variety. On the Microsoft Flight Simulator store, they have new aircraft coming out all the time by Carinado. Just Flight, for example. A great developer, Just Flight, is always an 8K native textures on their products. I have to recommend Just Flight based on previous products which I've had from them in the past, and which used to be included on Flight Simulator X as well. But yeah, if you go on the Flight Simulator store for a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, they've just had, I think, a Hawker Beach Jet or something released, which is fantastic. Potentially another site to check out if you are interested in getting stuff for X-Plane 12, I guess, it's called store.flightsim.to. So flightsim.to, and I'm looking at some scenery now. For example, you can get Guernsey Airport, which is my favourite. I'm now based at Guernsey, if you know, for my other stream. and that's only £15, so that's not too bad, to be fair. More realistic prices on Flight Sim TO. Go ahead and get on Metar, so we'll scrap that from the departure airport Strasbourg, first time flying there, and we'll get the airport arrival weather, Genoa. I'm going to print it off. I like to have it on the yoke there to have a good look at it. So, we got standard pressure about 1015, and we're looking at winds of 030 at 13 knots, so a little bit stronger. Well, nothing else to be worried about, I don't think. Pretty much the main sector, actually, the main leg of the journey. Do we need the low sheet? Probably not. And also the weather radar, we didn't do it this time, but it does work. Apparently, as I say, you have to leave it in standby mode when you turn the aircraft on. Or when you turn it on, leave it in standby mode for a couple of minutes, and then it'll work. So we'll leave it on standby and see if it works before we arrive. I am a little bit surprised to hear that, but I'm glad you've told me, because I was also considering the 650, thinking it would be better. But the only reason I got the 550 was because it was a bigger aircraft, and I've never flown a I've never really flown a jet this big, private jet that is. The smaller ones, yeah, but this 650 is, you know, £15,000 of thrust in each engine. Compare that to a Citation Jet 525, which has just about £1,900 in each engine, which is considerably different. Even the Citation X has a lot less. I can't remember how much it is, but something like maybe a lot less, half of it probably. Well, yeah, I won't be getting any more products onto the store for a while. It's usually like one product every full moon. But then it's like, buy the product, regret it, and then go and buy a product from a better developer like Just Flight and have a great time in it. Just like I've just brought over there, updated, I think it's an ATR, is it? Not an ATR, or a... Give me a sec, guys, I'll look at it for you so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, their BAE 146 has just been brought over to Microsoft 2024. I noticed we just had a sale on the X-Plane 12 for the product. Still on sale actually for 20 quid. And they always do native 8K textures, interior, exterior. It's always got high quality, you know, PBR materials. They're very, very well made planes. They have a formula and they stick to it, and it usually results in top quality products. I'll just remind you about the Piper Aero 3 that I bought. I didn't buy the Turbo Edition, but we'll be doing a flight in that soon again, because that really is a sweet plane to fly. We're over the mountains, everyone. What a gorgeous, gorgeous plane in this sunshine. If you want to know about, if you are considering liveries, I think the guys at AKG have provided more liveries online. I can't remember where they are. Probably on the forums or something. So we're about how far are we? 50 nautical miles to Ulcore. We do have to descend for our arrival to runway 28. 16,500 by Yoke. That sounds slightly too high. We'll have to double check the charts. QNH corresponds with what's in there. Oh, of course, there's no charts available. This could just be a bug on the aircraft because I am logged into ChartFox. I know the approach, but I'm pretty sure 14,500 is too high. We should be down by this point, maybe about 7,000 or 8,000 feet at the absolute most. I think we're safe to change the altitude on that. I'm just seeing if it'll change altitude. I think it should wait. It should be doing until we get to the next waypoint. So let's set that down to about initially 20,000, and we'll just keep lowering it as we get closer to it. Alright, that's been on standby, so let's try the weather radar. Okay, so the test mode is working. I couldn't get this to work in my review, guys, which means we have in fact got a functional weather radar, and it looks like it's using the same kind of thing that X-Plane 12 just integrated. So, stick on to weather. I don't know what we did there, maybe reset that. So it's now showing the radar, weather radar, and there's not anything to show, of course, but we can use the terrain radar in the meantime. So we'll leave it on weather, and if anything appears, we can keep an eye on it. Cruise descent checklist. We've done the automatic fuel return. We checked the 80s as 1015. There's no 80s information available, but QNH is 1015. approach briefing. So in the event of a go around, we will continue straight on to probably quite high actually. We'll go straight up to 12,000 feet. And then we'll circle back to Gickut for the retry runway 28. FMS arrival is set. We've got the speed, so the flight reference. It's not coming up here, but it should come up in the performance. So VAP, approach speed 138, and then landing speed about 128, that's normal. 39° VRAF is not peering, but we need that to be about 139. So let's do that. Let's do, I think this is how you do this on this. No, we'll just leave it for the time being. Let's see if we can do it from here again. Either way, it's in there for a reference speed. Minimum decision altitude, a little bit strange on this, so you click on obviously radio or barometric, and you can set 200 feet here or 300 depending on what you want to do, depending on the charts as well. Flight instruments are checked, cowl wings, anti-ice. We turn them back to automatic. I think it'll just illuminate when they burn off the ice. Pressurization, so we set that to auto and landing on the descent. There's the mode there for changing it from EPR. You can do it to low pressure or high pressure. EPR is what it's always on. It's probably best to keep it on that, guys, if you're not too sure. And then of course the checklist items there and the hood. I had someone comment on the hood saying, I don't even know what that comment meant, so I just got rid of it. I don't know what they were saying follow like the arrows or something, but if on the Guernsey approach and landing I did, it was actually a VNAV approach, which is normal for that airport. So excuse me, an RNAV approach, and on that you wouldn't even need the ILS, so that hood was purely there as a reference to speed and altitude and nothing more. There's the descent, ladies and gentlemen. We're descending now to probably 20,000 feet, hopefully.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. Make sure your seat belt is securely fastened. Our cabin crew are currently passing around the cabin to make a final compliance check. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and set landing pressure, so the pressure will leave. We don't want it to leave too quickly. Still at 30-odd thousand feet, aren't we? Yep, there's the arrival. We can just about see it on the map. So as you come down to Rivap, we could go from Moneb directly to Ixito, which is absolutely acceptable, and that way we'll fly over Genoa's airport and then come down. This is a really, really well-known approach. If you want to come to this airport, this will most likely be the one you could be going to given for the arrival and for the ILS runway 28. And I'm familiar with the airport. We know we're going to have to park in a big space. The size of this aircraft is unbelievable, guys. So let's stick a few lights on here. It's a bit dark, isn't it? If you wanted to stop doing auto throttle, you can simply click the throttles on the button and then take control of them yourself. It won't stop the aircraft from following the VNAV or LNAV, by the way. Okay, it is also December, everybody. I want to wish everybody a very happy season's greetings. And also, we are going to be doing some Christmas streams this year, because I haven't had YouTube before, so we'll be doing a special one as the time approaches. Maybe not on the exact date, obviously. We've all got things to do on there. Well, a few days before, I'll probably host a stream, or maybe a week before, and we'll do something nice and special. Maybe we'll fly up to the invisible North Pole again, where there's absolutely no scenery. Yeah, slowing down to 250. We should still be descending to about 12,000 feet. Looks like we're going to continue our descent. Probably need to be doing it a little bit more quickly than this though. And from 12,000 feet. Yeah, so the appropriate altitudes have come in now for, yeah, there it is, 7,500, just as I said, guys. That was the altitude for Gickup. Thank goodness I remember this sort of thing, because it's been an awful while since I've flown here. Aircraft having a little bit of trouble with the flight level change. It was pitching down awfully rapidly. It kind of tells me that it's, again, some of that little bit of a bad C++ programming. Nothing to worry about. get the ILS frequency. Under 9.3. Enter it down here. Oh, it's already tuned it. Okay, I forgot about this as well. So it's automatic tuning. You probably can change that to manual, but it's already put the tuning of the ILS for us. And it's done it on dual channel as well, which saves a lot of hassle. Maximum flap extension speed, I think is about 280. It says it up here in the center console. On the window there, so flaps 10, 250, and then full flaps are 180. Very steep, guy. We are well above what we should be. Then again, we're around 11, so it's not too bad. Speed brake on this aircraft is extremely powerful, by the way. It can stop an absolute rhino in its tracks. Here's the hood for context, so we could use that because we're using an ILS approach. In which case, we'll get it set up. Just turn it down a little bit on the brightness. That's 7,000 feet. Let's drop a notch of flaps. We're encountering some heavy turbulence here. November 345, Lima Charlie, Genoa history, traffic, 7,000 feet, ILS approach, runway 28. Always amazes me, guys, how people join in for the takeoff, the early flight, and they'll watch the whole thing and then they'll leave for the landing. I don't get what it is. It's like the landing, the curse of the landing. Nobody wants to see it. YouTube, if you're listening, push my stream out there a little bit more, please, so people can see it. We could have probably skipped these waypoints and gone straight to Gikuk. Gikuk is sort of an informal transition, I guess. And then we're down to centre fix. As you can see, we're not coming straight around. It would be more. The reason why we're going in this angle is because there's some small raised islands here, which will cause some issues, of course, if you're low down. By Gickup, 7,000. Whoa. 7,000 feet, which is where we're at, and then we'll descend down to 4,500 feet for the centre fix. We should be established on runway 28. Start a very slow descent. We'll do it early down to 4,500 just because the cloud level, we can't particularly see the ground at this point. Even though we're on an IFR flight, it's still good to be able to see where we're going on the landing. Terrain radar won't click on. It did come on, guys. We got some training there. We could probably do with seeing actually. The radar isn't clicking on now at all either. So I wonder if it's broke. It did come on after we tested it and put it into standby mode. Again, that's something that probably could do with fixing if it's not consistently working throughout the flight. We do need to slow down now, probably about 200 knots. Flap limit's 220 for 20 degrees. 4,500 feet. Flaps are deployed. It's going to be a tricky one, guys. I really hope we can see this airport when we arrive at it. Clouds are just everywhere. I mean, look at that. Wind's not too bad. Probably could have been landing on the runway. It might have been easier for the wind, but winds are still pretty light. at the moment. So when we get on the final fix, I'm going to establish ourselves by... I'll put the approach switch on and see how it goes. 4,500 feet. We could probably do with going down to about 3,000, I think. Okay, there's the runway, guys. We've got it in sight. The approach at this airport, Genoa, is not always straight. You will actually come in at this angle. That's completely normal. It's just the airport approach because of the mountains on the side here. Approach mode is armed. Let's see if he can do it. I think for the approach you do have to select navigation, although yeah, it's automatically selecting nav for us on the approach mode, which is fantastic. There we go, we're on the glide slope for runway 28. When we get there, we're already going to have a short stopover. I might have one for a little bit longer than a minute. Light rain, it's not too bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been cleared to land. Please make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened.
November 345 Lima Charlie, established ILS runway 28, Genova Sisterly traffic. 6.3 nautical miles. Let's bring our speed down. We'll drop the gear early to get our speed down, and we'll put full flaps, and that should give us the reference speed. Ground spoilers, let's arm them. We could have them armed for takeoff as well. Let's inhibit that, and we'll continue as planned. Thousand feet. Autopilot coming off. Let's feel those heavy controls once again. And of course, crosswind. .500 feet. You have the ILS approaching the minimums.
Approaching minimums. 300. Minimums.
Continue.
10,
Reversers, spoilers. I think the reversers are working. Oh no, we got no reversers again, guys. That's unfortunate. Let's just use manual braking, which is not preferred. Really not preferred. We need the reversers ideally. Anyway, good touchdown. Nice solid touchdown there, ILS runway 28. Please leave your ratings in the chat or the comments afterwards. Looks like we used the entire runway there. I'll have to make sure those reversers are programmed, so we're going to sit the flaps up. Very, very smooth. Taxi lights. Transponder to standby. Ah, not bad at all. Welcome to Genoa, everybody. Please just remain in your seats until we get to the gate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination airport. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign and we have parked at our parking stand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed that. That was a really good flight. No issues at all with the aircraft. Yeah, the aircraft handles extremely well in final, and they've done the ILS approach system extremely well. Again, something else that people potentially could get wrong on programming, but they've done it very, very well. Nothing to complain about. Let's just kick the APU on because we're going to be parking up here for a couple of minutes. We'll onboard the people, and then we'll get those on board who are coming for the next flight. We may just have to deboard 1 or 2 people, or we can just leave them all on board. It depends what our payload is. APU generator coming online, APU started. APU bleed air. Taxiing is really all over the place. It's very odd, it doesn't save your settings on the Honeycomb sometimes, so I'll have to get the reversers reprogrammed. If you are sticking around for the next sector to the final destination, Montpellier, in the Gulfstream 550 by AKD Studios, and please get some drinks in the meantime, and we'll take a short break. Let's go ahead and park down Alpha at November, and then we'll take a left at November to over here. I know for a fact there's some good spaces there, provided EasyJet has not taken them. One or two easy planes there. We'll go right next to the EasyJet. They've got space there between him and the Honor. looks like there's one there, guys. We park up at 102, is that? Where parking space 102. Ah, that's interesting. We came up with a rudder limit indication. That's again something that's just shows the level of detail. So we'll park up here, we'll get our engines shut down, then we'll check our weight and balance for the next one. As I say, guys, take a few minutes to have a refresher. Please score that landing if you want to, and let me know how I did. Parking brake is on. We've got the APU on, guys. We're going to turn the packs off. I'll leave the bleed air on the engines. The APU power is on. Let's just turn these off. Let's turn those off. We'll leave the avionics on. Flaps are retracted, spoilers.
Ladies and gentlemen, please check around your seat for any personal belongings you may have brought on board with you. On behalf of our AKD Studio Airline and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Thank you, and have a nice day.
One thing we didn't do also, we did not secure the door with a door safety switch, which is fine. I don't think anybody's got a death wish, have they? But it's just good to do. We'll see them off, and we'll say goodbye to our very, very rich friends who may or may not own this aircraft. Can we sit the chocks on? That's actually one thing you can't do on this. So you can click the pitos off and things and the chocks off, but you can't then put them back on again. I'd really like to see that. I'm pretty sure you can't put them back on again. But a two-way thing of taking them off and on. Let's just chock the aircraft anyway with X-Plane 12 chocks. I think that's X-Plane 12 chocks. Let's hope it works. So there's the van picking them up. I will see you in a couple of minutes, everybody. I'll play some music, but it'll be a couple of minutes for the next sector. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of our incredible Gulfstream 550 flight. We continue from Genoa Sestri Airport in Italy, our second country on this amazing journey today, and we continue on to France's Montpellier, just in the south of course. And in the past we have flown to Marseille, we have flown to Nice of course, one of my favourite airports. So I won't subject you to the suffering sound of this whoa god awful APU. Let's remove our chocks and let's hop into the plane. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, inside the Gulfstream 550, looking absolutely stunning with some very good touches and details in the systems. If you want to see my full review, please go and check it out on the channel if you are still here from the previous leg. Thank you and welcome back. Going to go into our charts and load up our flight plans. So, LIMJ to LFMT, Montpellier. And I'm going to use this as our reference for our fuel and payload, which is most likely probably going to be about the same, meaning we don't need to refuel and we don't need to defuel. Going on to the fuel limit, 951 with a total. Actually, we need a lot more for this flight than I expected. We need about 2200, but still not very much fuel at all, and we have about 6486 in there. If we do want to refuel to the actual amount needed, we can simply scroll wheel over this number and reduce it. I think I will actually, because we don't want to land heavy. I think we landed a bit heavy then. And also guys, don't let me forget this. As you can see, the reversers are not programmed in for some reason. They were previously programmed, but sometimes things happen, don't they? So we'll do that on there for the first one, and we'll do it on the second one as well. So now when we apply the thrusters, reversers, they should activate. So 2000, let's just take 3,500 kg, so we're taking about 800 on top of our alternate and extra fuel. We're taking a lot of extra fuel actually, and boarding wise we need, let's check what's going on this. In fact, I haven't had, now the flight is complete, yes, so it should clear the flight plan, and then we can initialize our position again. Yeah, so that's good. So once you landed guys, it resets the McDo. 18 packs, so we get that down to 18, and we only got 500 kg still, which is a lot. These rich people do not like to travel light, that's for sure. I mean, I can't imagine what they need 500 kilograms of luggage for in Montpellier. So we'll go ahead and set our fuel. It will mean removing some, and we'll board them early on the plane as well. Going back to the FMC, or the McDo, I'm so used to the FMC. And we will, well, we can't pull up the flight plan, so we'll just go and do it as we did it before, and we'll enter the destination and things manually with a fun way basically. I think this may be the longer leg of the sector, but that is absolutely why I am here today guys, to have a long relaxing flight. So runway 10 for departure. Again, we landed runway 28, it's slightly different there than expected. The Legan 6 Foxtrot, I am familiar with this one as well. It's usually quite a steep departure. And then we go down from Legan, direct to Vanuatu. And then we have an airway here. I think we just enter it in the same place because there's no airway thing there to enter it. So we do the 984. As you can see, it's not come up. That's absolutely fine. So in that case, we just enter the HUD code waypoint, and it should fill in the airway in between. There will be a way to enter it, but I cannot be bothered to look for it
Boarding
today.
completed and main door closed.
Thank you very much. Again, the staff on board doing a fantastic job. And then to Salin. And of course we have two choices.
Complete. And here is your load sheet papers, sir.
Okay,
Have
so
a nice flight.
thank you, sir. Belladonna. He's left his load sheet here. He's left his load in my cockpit. right on the pedestal. So Salin, you wide, and then Murray. And again, we'll have two choices. And you'd be surprised how many waypoints exist in multiple countries. We could actually just go onto navigation and select arrival if we wanted to put the arrival in. For some reason it's not coming up with one, even though there is a Mary 6 Tango arrival for runway 12 left. That's very strange. We'll put the runway in, preliminary with Lima Zulu. I don't know what the transition is. We'll look at the chart as we get closer and see what it is. Performance. And then we'll simply copy that into there. So it looks like the arrival is not existing in this particular model, but that's fine. Usually if that's the case, you can find an alternate route around it. Performance. Our cruise for the second sector, or second leg, is about... Where is it? Same altitude, so 41,000 feet. Fuel reserves, again, we just check that on the fuel page, which is here. So we need 2,200, and we have 3,000. So we've taken a lot of fuel. We've taken like 2,000 reserves with us. Just about. I'll put 2,000 and just round it off. Transition altitude, again 7,000 feet, very similar to Germany. Fuel, so we can cross-check this with the bow and or the bow. The PAX 18. Fuel is incorrect, I think. So I didn't change that last time, but you are actually meant to put the correct amount in. So 2998. And then cargo was 500, so nothing actually swapped in terms of weight. Confirm that. Back to performance, and then take off. And this is where I think we can enter the wind. Yeah, so there's the wind, and we've got the METAR data here for the airport as well. 030 at 13 knots. Zero 30 of 13. There we go. Elevation 13. Outside air temperature is 23. We can cross-check the wind insurance. It's saying it's about 11 degrees. We can change that. Closely match the realistic conditions. Runway 10 is confirmed. Anti-ice will be off. The dry runway, you can change that to wet. Flaps 20, rated EPR mode. You can do flex, but you know you're meant to be rated EPR for takeoff. So I think that's it in terms of performance. We'll get the reference sheet up here. It's given us 117. Let's just check performance calculator. 117, and then VAP 127. What are our V2 speeds here? Well, that's landing, isn't it? Takeoff. So it's about the same, 117 on the VR. It's actually the same on there and there, but it'll probably be different to what we have on the charts, which is usually the case. Keep that open for the top of climb winds. There it is as well down here. Cruise 410. Probably missed the page where we enter the wind, but it's fine. I think it'd be fine, and then we'll do the landing when we get closer. Going back here to the takeoff. A lot of computer stuff today. 1015. Did we even set local pressure? No, we didn't. Need to get off of standard pressure. V1, it's very close. That's it's close, but it's not perfect. You know, it's a little bit varying. 118, 122. If we put what's in the flight plan, which is absolutely fine, by the way. You're not limited to what the sim gives you. And it made the performance a little bit easier on takeoff. So 122. And then V2 131. Let's set the VREF as 137, 38. We'll do auto. See, if we click auto speed, it's gone back to the speeds it's given us in the takeoff performance calculation thing. I said the minimum is 1,000 feet. Personally, I would say this is not exactly an essential step if you're not into that. You know, it's not going to result in anything major going wrong. It's just mostly a reference, and also when you're at safe altitude as well. There are reasons for it, but for a simulator, you probably don't need to be too concerned about it. Okay, flight plan has come up. Let's cross-check LNAV and VNAV. VNAV again won't come up until we've done the V speeds and other things on here like navigation or depth from S1. And when we've got taxied with the engines running. So we're ready to get going. Let's skip the announcements because we're already here. Let's put the signs. What else am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything else, guys. Pushback.
Run to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Actually, we are missing something. Give me a moment.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
What? Ready to connect, so roger that. November 345 has accidentally started up when we probably shouldn't have.
Switching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
Transponder is preset. Just check the weight on there. We're within the range, and then we'll go back to the performance and just check that percentage for the trim. So it's saying 10% on the trim, which will probably be in the green zone, thankfully. Again, probably a little bit too much of a nose-up situation, but it is what it is. You can always tune it on departure and trim it, etc. Right, we have actually got 8 information available here, so we've started up and done our flight plan by accident. We'll have to tune them in. We cannot ignore the ATC services available. Very, very close to what we're already tuning at.
700 feet, temperature 11 degrees, 2.0 cities, QNH 1014 hectopascals. US Echo 1014 hectopascals. You have received information. Bravo.
Great. There's a radio. There's a ATC here covering the radar area of Genoa.
Departure information. Bravo at 1520. Runway
Milan. Yeah, Milan was packed.
Transition level 80. Wind 030 degrees knots. Visibility 10. Or more. Clouds 1,100 feet. Overcast 7,700 feet. Temperature 11 degrees. 2.06 degrees. QNH 1014 hectopascals. QS Echo 1014 hectopascals. You evaded information. Bravo.
Let's go ahead and get contact with them.
Arrival and departure information. Bravo at 1520. Runway in use 28. Transition level 80. Wind 030 degrees. 13 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers.
Let's contact Milan Centre. We don't want to break any laws, although to be fair we have started up, which is not great. We won't tell them that, we'll pretend we haven't.
Ryanair 6 correction, Rabbit 65 runway, monitor advisory 122.8. Good day. 122, thank you madam. 5.0 Echo Charles.
Milan Centre, good day. This is November 345 Lima Charlie, parked at stand 102 Genova Airport with information Bravo. QNH 1014, request departure clearance to Montpellier Airport.
November 345 Lima Charlie, Milano, buongiorno. Information Bravo in Genoa, cleared to destination Lima Foxtrot Mike Tango, Lagen 9 kilo departure, runway 10, climb 5,000 feet, stop 2, correction news code for you. Stop 1,000.
November 345 Lima Charlie, cleared to Montpellier via the Lagen 9 kilo departure, runway 10, climb 5,000 feet, squawk 1,000.
November 345 Lima Charlie, read back correct.
Okay, brilliant. So it did say Bravo on the 80s, I'm pretty sure it did, but obviously it's changed since a minute ago, so we'll check it before we get taxiing to make sure it is in fact correct. But yeah, good clearance there, good clearance on the ATC.
This is generated arrival and departure information Bravo at 1520. Runway in use 28, transition level 80, wind 030 degrees, 3 knots, visibility 10 kilometers or more, clouds broken 6,100 forecast 7,700 feet, temperature 11 degrees, 2.06 degrees, QNH 1014 hectopascals, QF Echo 1014 hectopascals. You have received ATIS information. Bravo.
Did he say it was information? I think he said it wasn't. I don't know why, but it is coming up as it. That's bizarre. Anyway, we're pretty much ready to go, guys. We kind of jumped ahead a little bit, which is great.
You can monitor advisory since now 122 decimate. Have a good day.
I'm going to ask him if it is, because we don't want to be taxiing without the wrong information. I mean, it does sound wrong, but we don't have any information on the system from ATC from the correct period, so we'll ask him what it is. November 345 Lima Charlie, stand 102 Genova, ready for push and taxi. I think they've just gone offline. Unless we're not tuned into them. 134. Well, at least he came online and gave clearance. That was good. Anyway, he's gone offline, and now our airport is left empty, which is fine. We got a nice little clearance there from the ATC controller. He may have disconnected by accident, so we'll just give it a second or two and get our pushback completed, and we might actually wait for him. Grabbing the aircraft, I think we take our brakes off. Yeah, to be fair, Milan is absolutely packed. He's got his workload if he's going to be doing it. Yeah, it looks like he's dropped out, unfortunately, which is... It is what it is, isn't it?
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
Alright, we'll push back onto November, we'll just taxi down. Kilo or whatever it was that we taxied down. Start switch is coming on. Engine is coming alive. Introduction of fuel. That's a number 1 start successful. Let's go for a number 2. Everything is going very well. We will go to initial altitude of 5,000 as directed by the ATC. I'm going to stick this onto taxiing only. Introduce the fuel. As you can see, the bleed there. I don't know why it only puts one pack on automatically. It should be doing both. And then, of course, we can turn the APU bleed air off. Let's stop the APU and then we won't burn too much at the ground. And we'll go back onto the flight controls. Okay, so ATC went offline, but they've now come back online. This is a little bit confusing, isn't it? Yeah, so there may have just been a disconnection issue there, as I suspected. We've pushed back.
Operation complete. That's parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Collindenare Charlie correct, Cambiano buongiorno, identified, swap 1000, flying flight level 360, clear to direct Charlie. That's Charlie, climb 360, score 1000, falling back, Right, Ergo limit airport, stop by head, landing group by 170, to break over 140, inbound, exit. 46 India Papa, Milano buongiorno, identified, SWAC 1000, exit 4 in Quadrant, ILS Papa,
Tow is disconnected and bypass and has been removed. And signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
November, Q-Day, 4000 feet. Postman 1 for November, Milano buongiorno, identified, climb flight level 240. Flight 40, Postman 1 for November. Renat 460 India Papa, continue descent, flight level 130. Continue 130, runner 36 India Papa. Operation 46 India Papa. Alpine 328, when ready descent, flight level 150, level by Ligure.
November 345, limit traffic, Genoa. We push back onto the taxiway because ATC disconnected. Are we clear to taxi to runway 10?
Last station calling, say again, sorry.
November 345, Lima Charlie, we're at Genoa Airport. We push back onto the taxiway. As there was no ATC, you disconnected. Are we clear to taxi runway 10?
November 34, Lima Charlie, Milano, no wallet, you can taxi holding point Bravo, runway 10, via November and Alpha. QNH in Genova 81014.
Taxi runway 10, Bravo holding point by November and Alpha, and copy the QNH 1014, November Lima Charlie. Okay, brilliant, let's get going, guys. I'm not sure if there's a way to change the voice volume on here. Maybe I am coming through a little bit too quiet. Yeah, maybe there's no way of doing it. These speeds are checked.
416 India Papa, continue descent, flight level 70, transition level.
For some reason the map is coming up with the wrong runway. Alright, it's coming up right there, but on the co-pilot side it seems to be the wrong way round.
416 India Papa, after Ogvon, proceed to Tixum. After Ogvon, proceed inbound Tixum for Aéroport de Montpellier. 416 India Papa, Ogvon, Tixum, not Ogful, so Ogful, Ogvon, Tixum. Oh, Roger, Ogvon after that inbound Tixum, 416 India Papa. Correct. Postman 1 for November, clear the direct base left turn.
Yes, clear direct base left turn, Postman 1 for November.
Runway radar, good evening, Renner 49 Foxtrot Zulu and 4000 feet. Renner 49 Foxtrot Zulu, Milano, buongiorno, identified, climb flight level 190.
Climb flight level 190, Renner 49 Zulu.
As well as their arms.
Milano, Rudder, good day. Water Express 6 for heavy at 3000 feet, climbing 5000 feet.
Water Express 684 heavy, Milano, buongiorno, identified,
Ladies and
constant
gentlemen.
climb flight level 1, correction 180.
We would like to familiarize you
Climb
with
to level 18 for the Water Express
Please
684
use
heavy.
caution when approaching the aircraft and be aware of static
Milano, Rudder, good evening. 37 Whiskey Alpha, flight level 230, inbound Strasbourg.
in the interest of safety.
7 Whiskey Alpha, Milano, buongiorno, identified, SWAC 1000, clear the recover 3, echo arrival, expect ILS Zulu, runway 35 left.
Communication.
Expecting reach at 3 echo arrival, 40 runway 35 left, and the smoke is 1037 Whiskey Alpha.
Seatbelt sign is turned off.
Water Express 684, stop flying by altitude at 6,000 feet.
Adjust your seatbelt to the
Stop at 6,000 feet.
track your seat outboard.
Rudder, buonasera, Swiss, side 00 heavy, inbound Brazil at flight level 240.
Oxygen mask will automatically drop.
Just stand by, brake, Ryanair 46 India Papa. Via Dixon, correction, descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1014 for correction 106 in Belgium. Via Dixon, clear Ryanair Papa, runway 28.
Pull the tab to release the smoke from the
It's landing 6,000 and QNH 106 and clear Papa to 8.
Swiss 500, Milano, buongiorno, identified, clear debris 3, echo arrival, expect ILS Zulu, runway 35 left. When ready, descend flight level 210.
fire extinguishers, first aid kit, and AED room are located.
Clear every 3 echo, expect at runway
Please take
ILS 35 left, descending at
Similar departure, guys, of the Exito. It says Exito, but it's a Lager 9 kilo departure.
Control. Good evening, this is Euro Wings 543 Bravo, flight level 290, inbound for Adverb, ready for descent.
It will open outward.
Just stand by, brake, multi-trade weight, monitor advisory 1228, buonasera.
128, buona,
Life vests are located in the seat bases.
Eurowings 543, Bravo, Milano, buonasera, clear debris 3, echo arrival, expect ILS Zulu, runway 35 left, descend flight level 230 when ready.
Grasp these straps and snap the hands together. Pull each strap.
Eurowings 543 Bravo, arrival,
Cords must be pulled to inflate the vest, but do so only.
Water Express 684, continue climb flight level 120.
Initial altitude 5,000. I'm just wondering why it's not connected runway 10 to Exito.
Postman 1 for November, climb flight level 240.
flight level 240, Postman 1 for November.
Any medical or dental concerns.
Swiss 56 Echo Delta, descend flight level 300, level by Cannes.
Convenience items are available for use, including phone access.
Swiss 7 Whiskey Alpha, when ready, descend flight level 190, level by Akazu.
And display screens.
When ready, descend flight level 190 to be ready, leveled by Akazi, Swiss 7 Whiskey Alpha.
Milano, departure, good evening, Turkish 95 Alpha, just passing 3,000 feet, forward 5,000.
Turkish 95 Alpha, Milano, buonasera, identified, climb flight level 190.
Flight level 190, Turkish
Strange,
95
there's no arrival start procedure coming up, so I have no idea how we're going to do that. We're supposed to be doing the Merit 6 Tango. Anyway, we're ready to depart.
India Bravo Echo Bravo Oscar, Milano buonasera, 555, monitor advisory, you are on site in my airspace.
Jet fire check, sono Baldera, alla superficie.
Roger.
We have checked the V-speeds. I'm wondering why the VNAV's not activating. Ah, there we go. We have checked the V-speeds, it's just telling us to do it on the CAS system there.
Ryanair 49 Foxtrot Zulu, but to climb reflect level 330.
We're ready to depart, everybody. Just about. Just waiting for that radar to kick into gear.
Ryanair. I was asking for Ryanair 49 Foxtrot Zulu. For Ryanair Foxtrot Zulu for you, climb reflect level 330.
Again, it goes on, it works, and then it doesn't. Leave on standby mode.
One Express 684, clear the direct PayPal left turn.
Clear the direct PayPal left turn, One Express 684 heavy.
Swiss 500, turn left heading 200 vectors, Mike Charlie 761.
Turn left 200 at Mike Charlie 761. 650 heading.
Postman 1 for November, monitor advisory 122.8, good evening.
Advisory 122.8, Postman 1 for November, good evening, ciao.
Ryanair 46 India Papa confirm established. Potete established Ryanair 46 India Papa. 46 India Papa 28 clear the to land wind 230 degrees 3 knots. To accurate land Ryanair 46 India Papa. AC71 Tango Lima identified, climb flight level 190.
November 345 Lima Charlie, holding point Bravo 1, runway 10, ready for departure.
November 35, correction 345 Lima Charlie, contact the tower on 118.6.
118.6 November Lima Charlie. Awesome, I didn't even realise we had a tower online then. That's my mistake.
Request for descent.
Swiss 7 Whiskey Alpha, continue descent, flight
18600.
Continue descending, flight level 13, Lima Charlie.
November 345 Lima Charlie, hello, we've just been given transference to your frequency. We're runway 10 Bravo 1, ready for departure.
Roger, runway 10, clear for takeoff, wind 020 degree, 13 knots.
Should we take off runway 10, November Lima Charlie. Alright guys, let's get going. He did just message me, I didn't even realise, but yeah, that's good. That means that we have somebody here available for us. Brilliant. 5,000 feet, we'll have to make do with what that's come up with on the departure. Maybe it was meant to be runway 28, who knows. And then we'll circle around. Technically we could go straight to Lagan and skip Ixito and Aniki, but it is what it is, isn't it? My controls are free and correct. What are we looking at on the reference? 130, wasn't it? 138 again. My speed is live. 80 knots. V1. V1 rotate. V2 positive rate, gear up. Yeah, pitching up way too steeply because of the trim, so let's get it trimmed down a little bit. Flaps up to 10. Flaps up.
Identify the contact Milano radar 135 and 1455, ciao.
135455 November Lima Charlie. Bye bye. not the best thing to say now at the end. We're going well too fast as well, guys. You haven't got the auto throttle set. Let's set that now.
EC71 Tango Lima, clear the direct Team Cook, continue climb flight level 370.
Let's just go straight to Logan. That's part of the departure, we may as well do that. Because we're not...
543, Bravo, reduce speed 250 knots indicated.
65 knots and 543, Bravo.
We messed up this departure really badly.
4,000 feet, QNH1016, high speed please, until Mike Charlie 768.
We're supposed to be at 5,000 feet, I completely forgot. Anyway, we'll leave the pulse lights on.
Location level 5 Alpha, continue climb to flight level 410. Continue climb by level 410, Turkish 95 Alpha.
So we put our spoilers into the off position. I won't apologise to ATC again, I think. Really good that we had tower though, really cool. And ATIS. Let's let the aircraft sort itself out. Pulse lights will come off now, I think. Good time. Windshield air is going to stay on. You can actually hear it, it's really loud. November 345 Lima Charlie, 5,000 feet, Logan 9 kilo departure.
November 345 Lima Charlie, Milano, ciao again, identify the continue climb of the level 410.
Continue climb flight level 410 November Lima Charlie. There we go guys, cleared up to 41,000 feet.
Editing 3 Charlie request 2 minutes of the cockpit.
Approved, report back.
Call you back when ready in cockpit. Editing 3 Charlie.
Space 500, clear the direct Mike Charlie 420.
Mike Charlie 420,
Wings 543, Bravo, reduce speed 230 knots, continue descent up to the 6,000 feet, QNH1016.
Thank you.
Speaks 230 knots, continue descending 6,000 feet, QNH1016.
I just realised it's going to keep levelling off because we've not got flight level change. We're not programmed it incorrectly, so 300. 41,000 feet.
Mr. Jet 33 Delta, Milano, buonasera, identified swap 04, correction 0464, continue climb, correction report, desired flight level, correction, cruise level. Squawk 0464 and our desired altitude will be 410, Mr. Jet Delta. This jet 33 Delta, roger, continue climb to 410. Roger, continue climb 410, Mr. Jet 33 Delta.
I wonder how we got it to work before. So strange. Nice though, nice that it popped up earlier, it gave us a little bit of hope. Oh well, we'll leave it guys, we're going to cruise now 41,000 feet, standard pressure is set. And I'll turn the logo light off, but we can leave it on when we get a bit lower down. Ice lights I'm going to leave on for the passengers, just to look outside. Although we don't need them on. In fact, we turn them off. Windshield blower can stay on. The anti-ice can also come on. Start master coming off, so it should have been off on the ground, and APU off. There's no engine sink in this aircraft guys, I don't know if that's a real thing or not. There's no fan or turbine sink.
Lufthansa 1301, Milano contact passing 4,700 feet. Continue climb flight level 390. Continue climb flight level 390, Lufthansa 1301. Swiss 7 Whiskey Alpha, speed 230 knots or greater, until further advice. Speed 230 or greater for the Swiss 7 Whiskey Alpha. Swiss flight 009 established on localizer on runway 35 left. Space 500 Eddie Milano Roger, continue approach runway 35 left. And please keep high correction speed 210 knots or greater until inlet. Continue inlet at speed 210 knots, Swiss flight. Swiss 7 Whiskey Alpha, turn right, heading 260. Right heading 260, Swiss 7 Whiskey Alpha. Zero wings 543, Bravo, reduce speed 210 knots.
There's the Marriage Chevy Tango, the arrival we're expecting. 2,000 feet, straight to the NDB. 339.
Turkish 905 Alpha, monitor advisory 122.8, ciao. Over to you, 122.8, have a good evening, ciao, Turkish 905 Alpha. Speed 7 Whiskey Alpha, speed 210 knots. Speed 210 knots.
Everybody, we're going to be passing Nice, Dakota Airport anytime soon. Just down there on the lower left we have Nice Airport, one of my favourite airports. And we have the Arnev approach, runway, whatever runway that is. Flight to the fingers, flying to the NDB, DME, and then transition to the approach. In this case, 12 left on the arrival. So we follow it down here and look for the Arnev approach. We could do a VOR, I mean that's what it is, isn't it? VOR.
Correction, November 345, Lima Charlie, monitor advisory 122.8, good evening.
122.8, November Lima Charlie, thanks very much. .8. Oh, what a great time having ATC online, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. Anyway, we're cruising soon. We're already getting up to 41,000. Considerably quicker, by the way, than our departure from Strasbourg Airport. Maybe because we had lighter winds on departure, who knows. Anyway, so that means we may have discretion on the approach, which means we can do the VOR Zulu 12 left. And that corresponds with the arrival in Mari, I can't remember what it was, something, I think 7 Tango or something like that. So we fly down to the DME VOR, and then probably do a circle round to runway 12 left. Yeah, it certainly would appear it. I don't think we'll fly up to Lekla, that seems a bit too far out. Could go to Gigna and then join there and come down for the final on the course of 124 at 4,000 feet as well. Alright, brilliant, we'll keep that open as a reference. There's no cruise announcement. We'll just turn the seatbelt signs off instead. I don't know if you can see it, everybody. There's Nice is down there somewhere. There's down here along the coastline. We're probably passing over Monaco right now, nearly. Just off to our left-hand side. Then we've got an aircraft in our vicinity there. We should have TCAS on here as well for traffic. Yes, we've got a plane behind us, which is descending down for some reason. Maybe he's going to the same place as us. On the exact same airway, by the way. We may get a traffic collision avoidance system alert here. There's about 1,000 feet of separation between me and that other plane, so pretty cool. Yes, there's Monaco down there, I believe. Awesome. Weather radar's on, there's been no luck with getting anything to work on that. It is saying it's on, but it's in white. We could do with it illuminating green and then appearing on the map. Even the terrain run again is not working now, so please AKD Studio, if you are watching, if you have it dropped in at all during the stream, please get it sorted, because that is something that would make it a lot better. Obviously you've got a great aircraft already. You've got an EFB, which most people don't have. You've got a weather radar integrated but not 100% functional. And obviously the graphical things and texture wise need improvements. Now you can see in the chat we've got some other people here who have purchased the 650. We said it wasn't as good, which is a shame, so my advice, guys, is just keep improving the 550 and the 650, I guess, until they're perfected. You don't want to keep releasing stuff if they're not going to be satisfying people's needs. We are on standard pressure on the captain. Let's check our flight reference here for our landing. Actually, now we've done the approach on here, we should be able to go. Yeah, there's TCAS alert. Is at the exact same altitude. We're getting a traffic alert. I cannot see him anywhere. I think he's behind us, like back there. The problem is he's at the same altitude as us.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
I'm gonna give him a call and see what he's doing, because he's really, really close to us. He's going. Whoa, 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 whoa! Look at his speed, Jesus!
Traffic. Traffic.
November 345 Lima Charlie, 41,000 feet.
Climb.
Responding to CCAS alert.
Climb. Climb. Descend. Climb. Climb. Climb.
Oh my God!
Climb. Climb.
That plane is going crazy.
Climb. Climb. Climb.
Is at the exact same altitude as well.
Climb. 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 Descend. Descend.
It actually looks like this guy might be in a Citation X.
Climb. 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 Descend. Descend.
Is that the Citation X or is that the 650?
Descend.
Imagine if he's in the Gulfstream 650.
Climb.
It looks like an XL actually because of that line on the back of it.
Climb. 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 Climb.
Yeah, it kind of does like the XL a little bit.
Climb. Climb.
That guy's somebody should give that guy a number to call, seriously. What is he doing? He's just going crazy trying to get on our level. He's in a Vista jet. No, come on.
Climb. 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 Climb.
It's not a race Vista jet at 41,000 feet, brother. Give it up.
Descend. Descend.
Oh my God. November 345 Lima Charlie, calling aircraft. Victor Juliet Tango 33 Delta, you're causing my TCAS to go crazy.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
The hell?
Traffic. 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 Clear of conflict.
How on earth is he causing that to go that fast? That's incredible. Anyway, that was either a UFO or an absolutely insane guy. By the way, Peak, I did see your message. You couldn't get the weather radar to show you anything, which is a bummer. Anyway, I'm going to give that plane a big middle finger. Flying like an absolute lunatic. In a Vista jet. I don't know what speed he's going at, but it's got to be at least the speed of sound. Possibly. We're going to be flying into some rough weather as we come down into Montpellier Airport. Marseille Province is, of course, up ahead. And we've just passed Nice Dakota Airport. Yeah, so when I started in the aircraft, the 550, there was a lot of fluctuation in the throttle and it would constantly make an annoying sounds. But now, as you can see, it's actually not too bad. It seems to have improved. I don't know if that's because it's understood how to maintain the speed a bit better. I don't know. It's actually learning as it goes. But yeah, it just seems a lot better. Maybe there's a way to change it. Anyway, guys, this is a little bit of a long flight. That guy's really screwed my flight plan over there. We almost had an issue. Not too long, so we get there about 57 nautical miles and then we'll be on the approach. I'm going to step away and get a drink, guys. If there is any TCAS alerts, you can take control for me. Alright guys, I'm back. Yeah, I think I agree with you there. It does fluctuate too much compared to the Citation X, which doesn't have an auto throttle. And if you set the power manually on the Citation X, it's usually pretty steady. It doesn't need that many adjustments as long as you get the right RPM. But on this thing, it's up and down and up and down. I think it comes back to the aerodynamics, and some of the programming might be a little bit off. It even seems more steady in the 737, especially if we're at 41,000 feet. If it just held that like consistent thrust, it would maintain its speed. But as you can see, it's going down again. It's going up, it's going down. But yeah, talking about the Citation X, I know I told you before, that plane's just flown under us like an absolute lunatic again. No, that's a different one. I'll give that guy a break. He was only about 1,000 feet below us though, which is 30,000 feet, but he's got a chemtrail left behind him. Yeah, so going back to the Citation X, it was done by Flight FX on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, I originally said it looked good, but then I realised and discovered that actually they'd included an auto throttle with it. Now, that was to me quite unrealistic because the Citation X doesn't have an auto throttle system in it. It's all set manually and it's a very well built aircraft. So, as I say, you set the thrust and it will maintain the speed. But on the Flight FX, I suspect it's because Microsoft just isn't very realistic in terms of its physics. It wants to make it easier for people. But then again, it's 2025. People haven't got the attention span to put the thrust manual, so they want it to be all computer controlled. Getting off topic, we'll continue with the flight, and I hope we don't get another lunatic flying through the airspace. I'm not sure, guys, how that other pilot had a VistaJet. We need to put half bank on. I'm not sure how he had a VistaJet on X-Plane 12. I don't even think there is a VistaJet for X-Plane 12 available. It certainly looked like one out of the window. I think he was speeding up the time as well, but that's how he was going so fast. Because he's got a route here on the network from Samadon down to Tenerife. That's quite a long flight. That would like take many hours, but he's doing it in like super speed time. He's going that fast. Believe it or not, we're already at the top of descent nearly. Down to 38 and then 2500 it looks like. I think 4000 will be the approach. It'll usually sort the altitudes out as you get lower down. But 4000 feet is the altitude we need here, probably because of the terrain. Anyway, let's pre-select our altitude. We can see on the map we've got Montpellier in sight. It's pretty damn close as well. There's no ILS coming up from runway 12 left, but it's saying there is one available, so we've tuned something in that may or may not work. Anyway, down to 4000 feet. This is a lot quicker than I thought it'd be, everybody. Let's get the local weather on the airport. LFMT. Great feature. More developers should have that on their aircraft, and they should also have the low sheet thing that gets dropped off by the refueling crew, which is fantastic. So QNH is looking like a 110 at 13 knots for the landing. I wonder if we can enter this in to our performance. There was a way to do it. I'm getting a bit lost on this little thing down here sometimes. Disconnect the auto throttle. There's a few different things here. The QNH is 1012, but there's a few warnings and things on here that we need to be keeping in mind. Few clouds 020. Cumulus broken, and then we have some more. This is concerning because it says 130 at 18, gusting up to 28 knots. So it is pretty strong there, the wind. It's stronger than I thought it would be at this particular waypoint. You can already feel the turbulence, yeah. Looks like France is going to be the rough one, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. Make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened. Our cabin crew are currently passing around the cabin to make a final compliance check. Thank you.
.36 knots crosswind hopefully that reduces as we get closer. So as we programmed on the arrival and we checked on the charts, we will be doing a U-turn runway 12 left, and that's come up directly ahead of us, so we're going all the way to the end and then turning around for runway 12. You need to descend pretty quickly. We're descending 3,700 feet a minute, blimey. Apparently the 650 by hot start, the Challenger, is a VistaJet. So yeah, it was a VistaJet. It says 650. Brilliant! What a coincidence, everybody. Don't even fly the Gulfstream that often. I've only just got it, but it seems like it's a super popular aircraft on the network. Oh, gloomy, gloomy, gloomy. Bienvenue. Welcome. Double check the approach speed of 125 and then landing speed of 115. So VAP is about 125, and cross check that with this, and indeed 125 on there. And we had a couple of knots on for the wind. In this case we might have to add, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 knots, depends how strong it is when we get down. If it is in fact gusting up to what it says on here, up to 28, we might have to go in a little bit faster than planned. Giving us a speed limit of 185 maximum on a 120 heading. Thousand feet. Let's just program that in for the final. Oh, these prides are final. I can't do it. You have to enter speed as well. Okay, that weather reading was definitely accurate. We can see now we're down here. We do in fact have strong winds available to us. And we're the only traffic in the area. coming as the VOR. VOR's down there though, on 1445. I put it into the ILS frequency, so it turns out there isn't an ILS here. What am I talking about? This approach here is not even I thought there would be one. It's the VOR, of course it is. Grantham is a little bit lost because it's pouring it down. Awful migraine weather, isn't it? Anyway, landing lights coming on. Logo lights coming on. The aircraft barely feels this turbulence. It really does. Even at high turbulence levels and high winds, it will barely shake at all. It's extremely stable. If we were in the Citation X, we'd probably be absolutely out of control by now. Okay, the aircraft is struggling. It's going to turn to the left and then the right. I love it. Love it when it corrects itself. We'll slow down to 250. For some reason we got a rain effect coming on. Again, the sound effects are not great. I mentioned this in the review that it shouldn't sound like it's raining outside, but it should be more like a dulled effect, as if it's muted a little bit. See one notch of flaps. Now spoilers on. Did we set up pressurization? I don't think we did. We didn't set it to take off or to descend in ground level mode. It's on landing now, which is probably where it always was to begin with. Aircraft is really struggling with the LNAV at the moment. Should be turning direct to that waypoint. Let's do direct to that one and see if we can turn around in time. That's all we got, guys, is this DME for the reference. There's no ILS, so we'll do it all hand flowing. I think at 1,000 feet will be fine. We've got the approach. I'll give a call out on final established, and that'll be it then. I think we should be able to use it in a approach mode though, even on a VOR, and it should be able to lock onto the runway that way. So maybe from the VOR we'll put the approach mode on and see how it goes. Montpellier traffic, November 345, Lima Charlie, 4,000 feet, VOR approach runway 212. You don't need the auto throttle, it's going to be out of control at this point. Is the terrain radar going to work? Is it going to show us any terrain? I'm assuming even if it doesn't show it, it will still give us a call out if we were near any high up mountains. We are in fact coming down nicely now after a bit of a skewy descent there. And as you can see from the VOR, we're coming in at a slight angle. It's a final. .21 knots, crosswind / headwind coming in there. That's nice. It's changed directions. We're expecting gusts, so we'll have to add 20 knots on to our landing speed, which will give us our reference speed then for landing. And then 124 there for the. It says 120 there and then 124, so we assume it's 124 for the landing. approach flaps are set. Approach mode is armed, but we no, it's not armed, it's not going to work, so we'll have to do this ourselves. Let's start descending. We'll try and get a little bit more established here on the final for runway 12 left. Says down to 2,000 feet. We'll go down to 2,500 and see how it goes from there. Okay, there's the runway, everybody. So 2,500 feet was correct for now. Do a slow descent and then we'll level off at that altitude. There's the runway. We're coming in a little bit high and fast. Let's take control. I have control early on this one. Gear and flaps. Montpellier traffic. Let's fly the aircraft first, guys. We're getting distracted. That'll happen if you pitch down too steeply. Yeah, too high up on that. I think we should do a go around and probably come back at 2,000 feet. There you go, just don't want to pitch down too steeply for it. Montpellier traffic, November 345, Lima Charlie, final, runway 12 left. It says 12 left, but it doesn't even look like they've got more than one runway at the airport. I hope this is the left one anyway. We're coming in a little bit too high here. We'll be able to stop in time, it's a nice big airport. This is too dangerous, guys. Going around. Montpellier traffic, November 345, Lima Charlie, going around, runway 12 left. And we'll climb back up to about 2,000 feet. Flaps have come back up. Yeah, it's too dangerous. I really don't want to risk it. It's not a comfortable experience doing it when it's all messed up. Anyway, we'll maintain this altitude for now. Our flaps should be fully retracted. It's giving us about 180 on the speed. Could go to 2,500 to be on the safe side. Yeah, there's definitely, it definitely doesn't look like more than one runway at this airport, so I have no idea where 12 left came from, unless I'm getting confused, that the flight plan's getting confused, I think. LFMT was on the chart, LFMT, and it's saying 12 left, but again, nothing is appearing at the runway there, so maybe it's an old one that's disused or something. We'll do this as a circuit, or we could reprogram the arrival again for the approach. Let's do the ILS, if there's one available. No, there isn't an ILS, so let's do a VOR again on here, and then no transition. Leckler's a little bit too far out, and then we'll fly around from there. Two and a half thousand feet is fine. We'll do this with heading mode on the right hand side of the aircraft airport. When in doubt, always go around. If you're coming in too high, too fast, especially in conditions like this, is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk of a bad landing, or do you want to get it right? That's the question you've got to ask yourselves. Check our fuel reserves and make sure we have enough. We do have enough, of course. If we go around, we have about 1600 left. We're burning more than I anticipated. We put exactly the right amount from the flight plan into the aircraft. So we should have enough for this. We could go to Gigna, and then it might be better to go to Gigna, so let's do that. The approach, VUR from Gigna, activate, and then we go direct according to the charts, and we can do it in LNAV mode now, and that will take us, give us a bit of a better angle coming in. Maximum 185, and of course down to final again.
Call the ball. ILS 108.11. Heading 271.
I'm not going to call the ball. We're not even landed on an aircraft carrier today, guys. Unsurprisingly. Call the ball at Montpellier Airport. Yes, this is going to be a much better approach, and we'll come down and nice and smoothly, like so. It's a big plane. In this kind of condition you need a significant amount of thrust on the final. That's a lot better. I'm going to have to have a look online about getting SimBrief amended for some of these flight plans. Some of the flight levels, some of the arrivals and things are just completely incorrect in terms of the data. Been a fantastic flight today, everybody. I've really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying these long sectors and these long flights. Doing 2 legs at a time is also a lot of fun. I understand people might not want to watch 2 legs in one sitting, which is why I usually do 1 at a time, but these 2 at a time ones are really fun to do. They just keep you like so in the simulation world that it kind of feels real. Great experience. If you do want me to continue doing 2 flights, you know, 1 leg and then another leg, then let me know. If you want me to just continue doing 1, that's absolutely fine, and there will still be loads of those on the channel as well. But if you do want to see more 2 leg sectors, etc., then let me know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been cleared to land. Please make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened.
This is probably why we had a 2,500 feet or 4,000 feet altitude for the approach. There is some high terrain around here we've got to be cautious of.
1,000. 1,000.
A lot of high terrain, high bumps.
1,000.
I'm glad to hear that, Travel Buff. Thank you for the feedback as well. Personally, I love them a lot more as well, because you get to have that break in the middle and you get to talk to people, you know, there might be a see that comes online, there might be something else that happens. You get to change all the systems, you get to do it all from fresh, and there's not too big of a gap between the landing and takeoff, which means that obviously you'll be doing a lot of hands-on work. Yeah, good feedback though, thanks for that. I will try and plan shorter legs in the future though, where I'll try and get them down to about 2 hours if I can do. Maybe try and do an hour leg each way. But again, it just depends on the route. Okay, here we are guys, we're going to reduce our thrust now and probably go for our approach flaps nice and early. As soon as we get down to 180. And maybe a stream earlier in the day might be good as well, but I'm just going to test the waters and see whether people want that. I'm not keen on using fake time and weather, I really want to stick with the real stuff. But I can understand if people like day flights, we might have to just plan them a little bit earlier in the mornings. Anyway, approach flaps are coming in, we can slow down to 160. This is the landing, everybody, we're at the right altitude, 2,000 feet. We have one aircraft at the airport, but nothing else in sight. Montpellier traffic, November 345 Lima Charlie, turning final runway 12 left. Go around height by 2,500 feet. And we'll make a slow descent towards the runway. And then that way we should be able to get a good visual as well. Anyway, flaps on approach. We'll lower our gear when we're a bit closer. There we go, we got visual in the distance, thankfully.
1,000.
Near the window blower on. I wonder if we turned it off. I've been testing this out recently on aircraft. It works on the Citation X. If it will blow rain off the window, but I don't know if this has it modded onto it. It doesn't seem to have X-12's native rain effects where they splash onto the screen. So I don't even know if window blower will work, but the window heat works. As you can see, it illuminates when there's a build up there. The same as the anti-ice most likely. Okay, we're well of course. We're not even online for runway 12. Left. Coming at the wrong angle. Probably time to take control, I think. And we'll get more established manually. Full flaps and gear. 15 knot headwind, so we just add 15 onto the final speed as mentioned before. It's a little bit less now, but it's still rough conditions. You can definitely feel it on the rudder control and the ailerons. Montpellier traffic, November 345 Lima Charlie, 6 nautical mile final, runway 12 left. feet, we need to get a little bit more stabilised. I'd rather be a little bit too low on this one than too high, especially because of the performance of this aircraft in particular. It's hard to keep the pitch in the right place. It requires a lot of input, even on final. 500 feet, we are approaching minimums. I will be continuing regardless. Gonna land.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reversers and spoilers. Reverse is active. 80 knots. Reverser stowed, spoiler stows, flaps retracted. Let's take the taxiway. Oh, what about that, everybody? A go-round from a pretty shoddy approach to actually a really, really stable landing in the end. The aircraft is extremely, I don't know what the word is, satisfying maybe? Like, extremely satisfying to fly. Hand flown on the approach, let's get our strobes off. And of course we'll taxi to Montpellier's parking. Very, very good. I would like some ratings in the comments, please. That was a great landing, I think. Actually, really, really stable on the approach, and it handled a lot easier than I thought it would. Ground spoilers coming off. We could probably turn our APU on. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll turn the isolation valve on and kick the packs off. Transponder to standby as expected, and we can just park anywhere, I think. Free parking. Let's check what the ground chart has available for us. Yeah, we did well then. We got off a good turn off as well. Victor, I believe, we've taken, and then we'll go down Tango 3. We've got avgas there. We could do with jet fuel, A1 jet fuel, or jet A1, whatever you want to call it, jet A. There's GA parking on the left. We need a little bit bigger than GA today, guys. We're in a very, very, very big plane. There's a lot of choices, and there's 12 on the right, but it's such a small runway and it's not illuminated that we cannot see it. We'll park somewhere over here in the terminals. I'm sure that'll be fine. And if you want an accurate chart for taxiing or parking, you can get the actual parking chart as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination airport. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign and we have parked at our parking stand. Thank you.
APU's online. November 345 Lima Charlie Montpellier traffic clear, runway 12 left, taxiing to parking. I don't know what parking it'll be, but we'll taxi there. Oh, thank you, PK. That's so kind. Thank you so much. I actually really enjoyed that landing. I would like to watch the replay and record it. Maybe as a video or something. We'll take the first parking spot, and also welcome in Sky Eagle's channel. You bought the aircraft but don't know why I can't fly it. My V-speed never engaged. I will answer your question. Just bear with me while we park up here, and I'll get back to you in a sec. Thank you so much for the feedback. I know for a fact this plane is going to feature more, guys. So if you do need to learn or ask questions, there'll be more streams, including this one, obviously, which will be available for you. Let's do the shutdown. We've got the APU on. We're safe to turn off these outbound and outward things. Let's get the logo and the nav lights off. Let's get our windshield and heat some things off. Our probe heat. Anti-ice off. Let's turn the displays off as well. And that annoying alarm. I'm not a Gulfstream pilot by any means, but how they tolerate that is beyond me. Beyond me. Okay, cool. So that's off. That's off. The bleed down the engines, and then the fuel cutter. Scrap the TCAS. Take passengers to terminal. We could do with opening the door, actually. Let's put the main door lights on today. Is it locked and secured? No, it's not. I think that's dependent on the engine shutdown and the beacon and nav lights, etc. Yes, dependent on them. And we'll go outside and we may be able to stick those covers on ourselves. I don't think we can, though. Pack seats, no smoking signs. Window heat is off. Anti-ice is off. Fuel pumps are coming off. We might as well turn everything off and keep the GPU on, perhaps. Isolation valve. Stop the APU. APU master switch off. Batteries 1 and 2, and for some reason this will continue to beep. Well, that's it, everybody. The passengers are going to get deboarded now, and they're going to be taken back to their hotels and wherever else you guys are staying. APU's gone off, GPU's on. AKD studio van is here, the magical flying van that followed us on final. Anyway, let me get back to your questions, Sky Eagles, before we do the replay. You bought it, but you didn't know why it couldn't fly it. The V-speed never engaged, and the indicated airspeed stays at 40 knots. When the plane takes off, it just flies in circles. English isn't your first language. I'm not very good at understanding it, but it's trying to go back to your live stream and see how we prepared the aircraft. Yes, actually, I recommend going back to the review that I did, because the review covers things in a bit more detail than the stream, and I talk about what may or may not work in it. You can of course watch this, or you can watch the previous flight, and they also talk for the systems. It sounds like when it goes in circles, what's happening is it's not been programmed correctly on the FMC or the McDo, meaning that when you turn the lateral navigation on, it's not following the flight plan because it's not got the correct waypoints programmed in. The only way to truly help you though would be to see how you've done it. If you need me to answer any more questions after you've watched the review video, please do come back and ask me, because I'm more than happy to answer them. But it sounds like, from my experience, it does sound like an issue with the program on the McDo. Anyway, we're going to watch the replay, guys. I hope that answers your questions. Let's see how bad or good that was. Hopefully the van will not follow us. There's Montpellier. Let's get as close to the runway. Let's do it from about there. The door is closing for the replay, thank goodness. There is no lights on for it, unfortunately. Programming, again, a little bit off, but not the worst thing I've ever seen in the world. I'm going to put some funky music on. Take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next live stream. We will be doing a new aircraft soon, so please join me for that. Take care. Bye.